I'm going to be talking about car batteries and why a lot of you are finding that your batteries are failing just now. So, to start at the beginning, the car battery consists of lead plates making up the anode and lead dioxide plates making up the cathode. So, the liquid in between is known as electrolyte, and all three of those components work together to produce voltage and power you require to start your car, and that provides lighting and ignition as well. So the battery does many other things, such as provide power to the many electrical comforts that you have, such as electric windows, radios, etc. And one other very important and forgotten benefit is that the battery smooths out the spikes and troughs of electricity flows. So this would normally damage any sensitive electrical systems. So that's what the battery does. So why is 2020 and 2021 a very important year for car batteries? Well, it's not an anniversary or anything, but it's a year that we stopped using our cars as often due to the pandemic. So during the first lockdown, a lot of the cars were just not going on the road. Everyone was scared, so the cars were just basically ditched. So car batteries are effectively recharged by the engine via the charger known as an alternator, which is in the part of the car engine is attached to the car engine. So alternators seem to work best with the cars driven faster than 30 miles per hour for more than say 5 miles, cars driven often, and also cars connected to well-maintained batteries. So here's the problem. When the car was effectively furloughed, the electrolyte solutions started to deposit sulfur onto the lead plates. Now the lead plates, which we've already mentioned are an important component of the battery, become inefficient, and inefficiency effectively means that the voltage is reduced due to damage on the battery cells and due to sulfur on the battery plates, and that reduces the current that the battery can produce, which is also important for powering the starter motor and just getting things going. So I'll talk about desulfonating batteries later on and if they really work. So how do you know if your battery is weak? So remembering that the battery is only part of the charge is one component of the charging system. It is effectively the storage element. A failed charging unit, known as an alternator, would of course produce similar systems to dying battery because it will be unable to charge the battery, even if it is healthy. It is therefore important to think of the battery as part of that larger charging system. With this in mind, let's talk about the symptoms of the failing battery alone. So you might experience lights at night time being dim, electric windows struggling to open and close as if they're like friction present. The car struggles to start in cold weather. The car will not start and may produce no lights on the dashboard or dash lights with clicking noises. The alarm goes off for no reason. Electronic systems such as spoilers, ABS, traction controls are deactivated and reactivated once the car is driven for some time. So you might get an error message appearing. Start-stop systems, like those on the Qashqai, may fail to work as expected or not work at all because they haven't got the power to start and stop the car constantly. And finally, the car constantly has battery issues that resolve themselves when driven over long periods of distances. So what should you do? The easiest solution is to get a mechanic to check your battery and charging systems. They can attach their equipment onto the car battery and perform a series of checks to test the charging system and the battery. So this test takes about 15 minutes to perform. Halfas do it, AA do it, I think Euro Car Pass do it. And so if the battery is the cause, then they may suggest that you change it, or they may suggest you charge it. The two options are based on the condition of the battery. So a failing or damaged battery will not charge to sufficient level so that the engine doesn't cut off. Okay, effectively, it will fail again. Whilst talking about safety, a failed electrical system can leave you without lights, brakes, and cause as I said, the engine to cut off. This can be very dangerous depending on where and when it happens. Other factors, who you've got in the car as well. You've got kids in the car. It's just not great. So I mentioned electrolyte in the car battery that connects the positive and negative terminals. The electrolyte is where the chemical reactions occur, and like most chemical reactions, heat makes them better and cold makes the results worse. So cold weather will cause the energy supplying the battery to decrease, and hence why a failing battery is easier to spot in cold weather. In addition, the demand for power from heated seats, windows, lights puts a large strain on the batteries. So any weaknesses in your batteries will be found now, which is effectively with this cold spell that we're going through. So let's assume that the battery is discharged and known to be at fault. What can you do? As I said, you can charge it and see if that does the trick. It could be that the lights were left on accidentally overnight. If this is the case, then that should be the end of the issue and it should be resolved. If the battery is sulfonated from in use or infrequent use, then some chargers are designed to pulse electricity into the battery to cause those sulfurs to break off the plates and return back into the electrolyte where they can be utilized again. This charger that I'm using here, you can see it just clicking away, is one of those desulfonating or reconditioning battery chargers. Now, in reality, do these work effectively? Not really. At best, they may assist in the most mildly sulfonated batteries to put some of this sulfite back in a battery which is pretty well knackered. No, you're just going to find it's going to be a losing battle. So I'm hoping that you'll have cottoned on to the fact that the most likely result after all these lockdowns is that your car's inactivity has damaged the battery and it's time to get a new one. Just bite the bullet and get a new one. So how do you know which battery to get? Well, basically you can type your reg into a site such as Eurocardbars or Tanya Batteries or Halford, and they will suggest a battery for you, or you can take your old battery out and see the numbers written on it. I've taken my car battery out, as you can see, is for this part, and you'll notice that this one is a 008 battery, so you can fit a 008 battery into this vehicle. Again, you want to look at this number here, which is the cranking amps, and that will tell you that will, you'll have a minimum amount of cranking amps. So that one's 680. The larger the amps, the easier it will be for the car to turn over. But you do need a minimum for your car, so you really need to know what your minimum is. So that's the charger connected onto it. Now, it's a digital one, so you can see a few numbers that can help when charging. This one is a smart charger, so it changes its ampage, which is the charging rate. It goes through, so it pulses up and down. If I press this one, it tells you the voltage, which is 13.3. I would expect that to be higher, and it will get there eventually. And look at that, it's just saying low. So you can see that this battery is in a state of discharge just now. Okay, so the battery is going to be basically charging tonight. It's going to take its time and it's going to get there eventually. Okay, so I hope that this information has been informative for you. I'll be posting up another video on a more detailed explanation of where to purchase your car batteries, what to look for, and sizes, etc. I'm going to suggest you subscribe to the channel, as the next video is going to help you get the right battery at the right price, whether you purchase online or in store. Okay, I hope that helps.